Is Tucker Carlson trying to throw Donald Trump out of the MAGA movement and usurp it for himself? That is the question that has been on my mind since yesterday when one of our loyal viewers, I Hate Everything, thank you, I Hate Everything, put it so succinctly, saying that if Tucker Carlson is able to remove Trump from MAGA altogether, it would be the most poetic ending to the MAGA movement. And we're going to talk about that a little today. How's everyone doing today? Welcome, fellas and ladies. It's a nice, chilly Florida day in the 70s. Too cold for me. I'm warm-blooded, but it's nice. It's decent. If you want to visit, now's the time. Before we get into it, like, comment, and subscribe as always, and share the channel, guys. We are growing at a pretty good rate. Consider picking up some of our new merch, which are these limited edition, not endorsed or affiliated with Piers Morgan, WWPMD. What would Piers Morgan do, or what would a postmodernist do? It's up to you. Bracelets, we've already sold 3, and there's only 100 of these limited edition bracelets, all right? When you wear this, you will never make the wrong decision, because you will always ask yourself what the great wizard Piers Morgan or what the great wizards of postmodernism would do when making a decision. How's everyone doing today? Today, dude, I was gonna make this video regardless, but today I actually got to watch Tucker Carlson's latest video, which is actually worth checking out, about Thomas Crooks, the guy who tried to unalive President Trump a few years ago at this point. A young man that we don't know much about. The government has been very opaque as to who he is or what his real motivations were. They said he didn't have a digital footprint, but Tucker Carlson has said that he found it. And in a 30-minute expose, he's doing the Tucker Carlson thing, right? The I'm just asking questions. I haven't been a fan before of Tucker Carlson, but now it seems like everyone's redeeming themselves, dude, because Tucker Carlson, I thought he was just trying to make the country schizophrenic. But now it seems like he's actually trying to build a political movement and attack Donald Trump. Where am I getting that from? Well, let's think about it, okay? Let's think about it. This video comes just a few days, or even one day, after Tucker's I actually really liked it, video where he attacked Ben Shapiro and called him he's actually called him a disloyal American who hates this country and its people, something that I've known for decades at this point. You don't have to be right-wing or left-wing to know that. Ben Shapiro is clearly an evil guy who hates you, at worst, and at best is indifferent towards you, so you shouldn't take his advice. That was important. That was important because Ben Shapiro is one of these, you could say he was a usurper or a grafter onto the MAGA movement, okay? These guys like Ben Shapiro, the establishment, never Trump type people. By the way, I'll make the video next week. Never Trumpers were the original American jihadists, but we'll get into that in another video. These guys, dude, they were not part of the Trump movement, and they kind of usurped it in this last election cycle. They tried to make it seem like it was their movement all along. Now, Tucker used to have a closer relationship with President Trump, is my understanding. We avoided war with Iran in the first term because Tucker reached out to him. But ever since he got off TV, Trump does not really care for him. I don't know if that's led to bad blood, but seeing these attacks on Trump allies like Ben Shapiro, who have cheered on essentially everything the administration has done except tariffs, is an indirect attack on Trump. Trump is catching strays with that video. But today's video, dude, about Thomas Crooks, that's even more strays. Like that is a crazy video to watch because he's essentially calling out Biden's FBI, but also Trump's FBI, Trump's most trusted and loyal people like Kash Patel and Dan Bongino. He's saying that these people are hiding something from the American public. Now, what does that mean? This is what I was pondering last night as we were analyzing on the live stream. Make sure you join our live streams. The real purpose of Tucker's video attacking Ben Shapiro, I was like, is Tucker trying to form a new political movement? Let's say even a third party, if he's dumb, a third party, in order to usurp the MAGA energy? Is that why he platformed Nick Fuentes and has stood by that decision? Is he trying to cause a rift within the party? Is he working for, as my producer said, who was a higher up in a government at one point, He suspects that it's possibly that Tucker Carlson is that he's working with the opposition in order to divide the Republican Party and hand the election over to Democrats the next election. Who knows? I mean, that's speculation, and I'm not coming at it, and neither is my producer, because he's a Baudrillardian too, man. We're coming at it from trying to understand the spectacle. We're not taking sides here. We're trying to understand the spectacle so that we can understand our lives and how they will be affected. So, I'd appreciate if you guys tried to give me some clarity here, because I'm really confused, man. I know a guy, a buddy of mine, who was actually at that event in Butler, Pennsylvania. And his version of events does not deviate too much from the official version of events. He added some stuff that I won't repeat that makes it a little bit weird, but not something that was so far off from what was originally told about the Crooks event, okay? But to see Tucker out here actually call out Donald Trump's FBI. The FBI is an important part of the government, man. Calling out his people is essentially saying you're unfit for office, dude. And it's actually an amazing pincer move, because what can Trump respond to it? I think he has three choices. The first one is silence, which is probably the best one. The second one is becoming angry at Tucker and like attacking him. But that one makes no sense, because if you do that, you're not interested in knowing who tried to unalive you. That is the most suspicious thing you could do. And the third is probably something like, I don't know, fully agreeing with Tucker, being like, oh, you know what, we need to fire Kash Patel. But Trump's not going to do that. Obviously, he's not going to do that. Donald Gorbachev, as I call him, is in a very weak position. He has lost his base. He has lost most support, man. Unless you're like in the MAGA cult, I've seen that, or a billionaire. He has lost a lot of people, have peeled off his base, dude. All of the Hispanic inroads that were made, I can confirm to you now, dude, I think that they have been lost. It's very, very difficult to get these back after the way he has handled the illegal immigration crisis. Not saying that it wasn't justified or right or wrong. We're beyond politics here, fellas. We're just talking about the reality. I'm just telling you that it's not going to happen anymore. This was a very alienating experience for Hispanics. I'm sure that a lot of ethnic groups can feel the same way that sided with Trump, thinking that he was going to change things, including white Americans. I think a lot of white Americans have turned on Trump. Also black Americans as well, who also in record numbers voted for him. So Donald Gorbachev is in this very weak position. Not even Andropov, dude. He's Gorbachev, where he cannot fight back without looking weak. He is the Fredo president at this point. And this is, for Tucker, the time to strike. It is absolutely the correct decision to make. You should be striking when your enemies are weak. Art of War, Sun Tzu. I mean, that's just the truth. But that's not the interesting part, man. The interesting part is the first question that I asked, man. Is he trying to take over the party? Because I mentioned him before in my live streams. I've seen Richard Spencer, who was a white nationalist a few years ago, who has become a liberal and has actually had a lot of sobering takes throughout the last couple months. He said that he thought that Tucker's interview of Nick Fuentes was an attempt to get Nick Fuentes to wrangle him into the J.D. Vance MAGA movement, to include him, make him feel heard, make him feel seen. I bought that. I thought that made a lot of sense. But the follow-ups have proven that that's not the case. This is now that we know what Tucker's intentions are now, this is a triple volley attack on the Gorbachev castle. This is a true attempt to tear down Trump's control. I mean, Trump said it famously this year, I am MAGA, I decide what MAGA is. And Tucker is going at that. He is going at the identity of the purported leader of MAGA. Historical analogs that I can think of, probably Robespierre when he got taken down. It was his movement, the French Revolution, but he got taken down. I can't think of many more. It's very difficult to say of something like this. It's very hard to say, like something where you create a political movement and then someone comes in that was a former ally and says, you're not doing enough. We need to get you out by any means necessary. We need you out of here because you are fully incompetent. You are not worthy of the crown you picked up. You're not worthy of it. What is that? What is the outcome of that? I think that the outcome is, first of all, I'm very confused as to what J.D. Vance's role is here because he's been suspiciously quiet, man. J.D. Vance is supposed to be more aligned with the, let's say, the Fuentes wing, the Tucker wing of this party, of the Republican Party. He's supposed to be the, to quote Jesse Lee Peterson, the great white hope of this party. You know, he's supposed to be seen as the young, modern, hip, millennial guy who's there to carry on the legacy. However, these attacks on Trump also, J.D. Vance is catching synthetic strays, like strays of strays. So anything that is explicitly attached to Trump is going to be attacked. This means that this is an attempted like putsch, an outside purge against Gorbachev. And how does that work? I mean, Tucker Carlson, is he building, this is what I'm wondering, is he building a party infrastructure outside? Is he talking to people in the party? We've seen a lot of these scandals lately where a lot of staffers that are working for the Trump administration have been outed as, you know, I'm not going to describe them as that. That's what they've been accused of. I don't know these people as like Nazis or groypers. So the Trump people feel that they have been infiltrated by interlopers, by people that are not supposed to be there. Is that the doing of Tucker Carlson? I truly wonder. What would Tucker's motivations be also is something to wonder because, you know, a lot of people have speculated that Tucker Carlson is, you know, funded by Russia or Qatar. I don't see any evidence for that. The Russia one I kind of get, but could this be some sort of op where they're trying to bring a more favorable policy towards Russia, a more favorable policy towards Qatar? I don't see that, but I think it's worth considering, but I don't see that as a real possibility. What we can say definitively, though, is that this is an attack. This is an attack on Trump's castle, on Gorbachev's castle. And Gorbachev's response, Trump's response to everything is to call it a Democrat hoax. So are we going to start seeing this is a Tucker Carlson hoax? This is a Nick Fuentes hoax coming out of Trump's Truth Post? Huh? I wonder, and it's a losing strategy, man. You've seen it fall with the Epstein files where everyone says, Gorbachev says this is a Democrat hoax, but no one believes it on the right or left. Everyone is suspicious of the man. So that strategy is not working, but Trump is not changing it. This means that either Trump feels super safe, and maybe he does have reason to feel safe. Maybe he is entrenched permanently in the ruling oligarchy of the country at this point. Maybe he has so much support that he has nothing to fear. But I'm suspicious of that, man. I'm suspicious of that. I think that up until a few months ago, I would have told you I thought the Republicans were going to win the midterms for sure. But at this point, I think they're going to lose. I think it's very likely that they lose the midterms from activating their voters to vote against them. The only way I can see Trump and his legacy continuing to win is with excessive manipulation of votes in terms of the census, in terms of gerrymandering, which is not unusual. I mean, I'm from Florida, dude. If you want to know the inside scoop of how Ron DeSantis won his second term here, not to say that he was challenged, but to make sure that he won. If you talk to anyone that's honest, that was working with Republicans at the time, there was mass gerrymandering in the state in order to ensure that victory. That's why we had a red wave here last time, okay? Allegedly. I don't know. I'm just a fruit-picking spick over here, dude. I don't know. Trump could do that, and it could carry on just by, you wouldn't even call that attrition, right? You call that manipulation. And it's a smart choice. It is the smart choice. But I do think this presents a real problem for the Trump MAGA movement, man. Because when you could call them ankle biters to be disrespectful. But these are people that are coming in with legitimate points, dude. They are pointing out that this government has not been transparent. It has not been transparent to its own supporters in regards to President Trump's unaliving attempt, Charlie Kirk's unaliving attempt. No one is satisfied in the country with the lack of transparency. It sounds a lot like the Bush administration, man. It reminds me a lot of Bush Jr.'s administration. It was a lot of the same complaints, a lot of the same issues that they had with him in terms of the Patriot Act and all of these other abuses of power. I don't know what Trump can do to counter to this, dude. People say that if he starts to actually give in to what his supporters want, which at this point is what? I guess like mass deportations. I don't think that's going to happen. What else do Trump supporters want? Trump supporters want what? The end of DEI? Didn't that already happen? They want a good economy. Well, that's going to be very difficult to pull off, man. That's very difficult to pull off. So I don't see how he can get his base back, man. I don't see it. The Epstein thing is another great pincer move that the Democrats, as well as some people on the right, have pulled on him. He is surrounded by pincer moves. He is being hit from all sides and both sides. And you can go in with boomer confidence, which Trump has, that salesman confidence. But at the end of the day, man, he is older, man. And Trump is a great magician. He's a great hypnotist. Ask Scott Adams. He can confirm it to you. But as someone who's a student of hypnotism and magic, I can tell you that he is. But how much magic can it be, especially with the ascent of competing magicians, competing political theories like Zohar Mamdani. Zohar Mamdani is a competing political theory, as well as even Curtis Lewa in New York was a competing theory to Trump. These guys are not in the MAGA camp as would be traditionally expected, and they have found a lot of success. I mean, the Republicans got wiped out just a week ago. Just a week ago. The Trump movement, if you're measuring it by proxy, is on the decline. And something else is ascendant. I don't think that it's fully formed yet. And I honestly, I'm not very bullish on the DSA types taking over. But something is happening here, man. And I'm the kind of guy, just like Timothy Leary or something, I'm not going to gaslight you, man. I'm not going to tell you I have the answers, but I'm going to tell you things are getting weirder and weirder. And you are not weird for asking why things are being weird and trying to understand why things are weird. Things are just weird, dude. They're weird. And these attacks from Tucker are probably the most interesting thing that I have seen in the past couple months, man. This total break. Because how do you come back from this? You call Ben Shapiro a dual loyalist to Israel. You say that Donald Trump is covering up his own assassination and that his FBI is disloyal. Disloyal at best and hiding something at worst. You can't come back from that. I mean, Trump is a forgiving guy from my understanding, but come on, that is a strong attack. Smoke on that, man. Think on it. Think on it. Please let me know what you think in the comments, man. I appreciate you guys tuning in. And I'm trying to get clarity too. Join the Discord server. We talk about this kind of stuff in there. But yeah, I would like some clarity because the only reason this is worth exploring as a Baudrillardian is to try to prepare for the next event. Try to understand what they're actually trying to do. Pretend harder than they are. Really figure it out so that you can profit or survive at worst. Okay, just survive it because you don't want to be caught off guard. This is why Piers Morgan is a hero to this channel. Piers Morgan is never caught off guard. We are trying to get to that level of intellect. All right, everybody. Let me know what you think. Let me know what the real motivation here is. Let me know what you think Tucker is actually trying to do. And I appreciate you guys tuning in as always. Get your bracelets. Look at my YouTube post about the bracelets, the What Would Piers Morgan, which are not endorsed or related to Piers Morgan at all. Get these bracelets, man. They help the channel grow. Consider becoming a member on YouTube. But as always, like, comment, and subscribe, dude. Subscribe. It costs you nothing, and it really helps the channel grow. And share the channel. Share the videos. It helps out. I appreciate you guys tuning in. And I will be on stream tonight on Friday, which is a very special night for all viewers of The King Leo Show because we get to watch Bill Maher right after and torture ourselves to death. I appreciate you guys. Everyone have a great evening.